should let the Discord know. What's going on? Yeah, gold is ripping right now, isn't it? Broke the all-time highs. It's kind of a... I was hoping for a short, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get it. Sorry, I'm just letting my Discord know that I'm live at the moment. And we'll get to doing some TA. Alrighty. So yeah, I've been got a nice little pump on gold over the weekend, right? Try to make sure this is all clear in here. So I was actually looking at it earlier this week on the 4-hour, and I'm like, man, this thing looks like it wants to go. Like, it had an inverse head and shoulders, it popped up, we had a nice little falling wedge, kind of run right back into the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders. It was beautiful. It was such a nice setup. I actually gave it out in the Discord. I mentioned, and I was like, hey guys, this is looking pretty bullish. You pop up market cipher, and my indicators, you got hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. You had a anchor trigger wave combination. This was just a money setup. And I even said it. I was like, hey, I think we're going for the all-time highs. And it pumped, and it's going. So, kudos to anybody who took that trade or who saw it. You know, I was a spectator. I actually didn't catch the long there, but I did catch a silver long. Silver's been killing it for me too. Oh my god. If I'm looking back and forth, by the way, it's just because I got a second monitor, so I'm just trying to check out the chat. I'm new to this second monitor life. I used to be a solo monitor guy until I started streaming. But yeah, I mean, look at silver. All right, so here's the dealio. Let me just zoom out to a higher time frame so you can see what's going on here, right? So silver's been straight up. I mean, look at this. I mean, straight up. Let me get rid of that. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna delete you. I don't know how to delete that. My tool's popping up somewhere else. Anyway, silver straight up on the weekly, and it's been consolidating, man. I've been watching this trend on it, right, from November, and it's just been tracking up, and it's been banging its head on this 84. Put the $84 high in, and we're just kind of like banging the head on it, like it's starting to really look like it wants to break to the upside. If I'm just being not objective and just looking at what price action's showing me, it's hitting its head against the ceiling, and it's creating higher lows going up. So right now, I mean, look, I'm not long or short, but if this thing starts to break, I mean, it's hard to be short on it at the moment. Now, what I was waiting for was something like this. I'm still waiting for this to happen. If we do, and this is the play I'm looking for this week, this is like my play. If we pop back up here and take this liquidity and then fail to break out, close back under, I will be looking to short back down to trend. It would probably be an intraday trade, like, you know, you'd have to probably catch it during New York or one of the big sessions. I would imagine New York or London would probably do something like that. So look for the sweep on the first pass of the high. Maybe we get a rejection. We may have already gotten it. Maybe I missed the opportunity, right? But we didn't really get there. Like, I'm going to move my little squiggle to the side. What's going on, everybody? So, I mean, look, we didn't really take it. Like, that's not an SFP for me. So I think that was just people de-risking going into the highs. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm going to wait, see what happens when we get that, if we get another pass up there. Maybe tomorrow during New York, maybe when London wakes up. I mean, Asia just woke up like an hour ago. Their markets are open. So maybe we do get that pullback. If we don't and we get a clean break, you know, I'm not going to fade it. I'm just going to let it go. But below this line, I'm looking for shorts. Starts breaking above that, then I change my tune. The short idea is out. So that's kind of what I'm watching right now on gold, on silver. Gold, I mean, really, I guess we really need to see what happens here at this 451. Is this a real breakout, or is this just going to be a, you know, liquidity grab and then we close back under, kind of like that classic double top pattern on the higher time frames? Or does it actually break out? We'll see. So I think this week's going to be big for gold and silver. Let's go look at the SPY. Let's go look at the Qs, and we can look at the SPY. And if you guys have tickers you want to take a look at, just let me know in the chat. Throw them in there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name's Eddie, by the way. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. We are a trading community. We have a free Discord, free website. Links are in the bio. Check us out. It's just a trading community. We all have passions in this. A lot of us are full-time traders or aspiring traders. A lot of education, a lot of camaraderie, community, all that stuff. So if you're looking for something like that, give us a look. Give us a holler. So look, what was I going to talk about? Let's talk about the Qs first. So I got to zoom out on this thing. So it's getting tight. Here's the thing. Let's just get rid of some of these lines real quick. Just going to move this over here for now. So it's getting tight. Like we've been in this like little bit of an uptrend, right? And this is since like April this year. So when we've like had bottomed out, we're starting to like bang our heads and get a little bit closer. You could see that this trend runs all the way up to this price action. So it's like, are we breaking up? Are we breaking down? So I think it's getting tight. We're gonna have, I think by this week or next week, we're gonna have a direction, whether it's up or down. So I'm gonna wait and react. I will tell you what I'm really looking forward to. I would love, and this is just me theory crafting, guys. I don't know if this is going to happen, but like, you know, I don't think it's going to be as simple as it just rolls over and we just get a retest and then you short it down. I don't think they're going to make it that easy. I think if they're going to take the price action down, what they're going to do, let me undo real quick. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to pump it up, fake everybody out, get some crazy like blow off top, then run it down. And then trap a bunch of traders up there. And then if they're going to bring it down, I think it would be something like that. Run it up, run up the highs, get a bunch of people trapped, get people throwing their money into this thing right before it gets ready to collapse. And I'll tell you why. Like, I could show you on, and maybe it does break out. So that's what I would, look, if it breaks out and we get confirmation, like, a little breakout, retest, then yeah, you flip your tune. You don't go bearish. I'll take a look at BTC. VZ, I can check that out. Just give me a second. So let me go take a look at, where's my list? Sorry, you guys have to see this real quick. There it is. So I want to look at NASDAQ. Not NASDAQ, I'm sorry, the SPY. And the reason I am like kind of harping on the SPY is because if you zoom out where we're at right now, wow, I have the wrong thing on there, guys. So I want to get this line. So you can actually like draw a trend. I don't have it drawn out here, but there is a trend. I think you can draw a channel. Kind of runs up like this. There it is. Okay. So you see how I drew that channel right there from the bottom? It runs all the way back, right? This is a multi-year channel. Look where we're at right now. This is the SPY. And I haven't posted this one too. We're like right up against it. So it's in that area where like, look, this thing, I'm gonna get rid of some of these lines real quick. There it is. So just get rid of some of this stuff to clean up the charts so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But look, we're right up in there and we are forming, look, what is this pattern? If you know what patterns are, this is a rising wedge. These things have a higher chance of breaking down than they do breaking out. But we don't guess, we don't take, we're going to wait and see what happens. For me, what I'm looking for, and I'm actually starting to build a short because this is a high confluence zone for me, so I've started to dabble into like getting some short contracts. That's just me personally, nothing here's financial advice, guys, so I just want that to be very, very clear. But if we start to break down from this little trend right here, kind of like we are with the Qs, right? And this trend is stupid, but it actually works. Runs all the way back to here. From the bottom of the channel. So the bottom of the channel to the top of the channel, that's the trend right now that we've been in. So if this thing breaks, where do you think it's going? My guess, bottom of the channel. So there could be a mega short coming here. It's like a 20% drop. Maybe it doesn't do all that, but I could see a drop back down to this level here, around 61.52. That was the previous breakout high. That makes a lot of sense for me. So it's still a 10% drop. So I'm building for something like that, a play like that right now on SPY. What's up, Parker? How you doing, dude? Parker's one of our members. He's one of our newer members. He's trying to become a trader, learn about the markets. So let's go look at Bitcoin. Someone asked about Bitcoin. So that's what I'm thinking on gold, silver, Nasdaq, and SPY. Those are the big ones I'm watching this week. I think we're gonna have a big week ahead of us. I think a lot of decisions are gonna be made. So Bitcoin. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. It is still. I want to point this out. Let's just get some context here, right? I'm gonna get rid of some of this crap on my screen. All right, I'll plot these lines back in. We are still in a giant bear flag. Context here. This is a bear flag. We did something very similar last cycle. Double top. Me and Ben were actually discussing this earlier today. Double top, followed by a dump, bear flag, break down to the bottom of the bull bar. Okay. What are we doing right now? Double top. We broke down, and we're starting to bear flag, guys. So that's what we're seeing. That's what the charts are telling me. Look, it can prove otherwise. There are some levels we'd have to break for things to get really bullish. I'll show you on the daily. If we start breaking back above this level here, 107.5, and we can start closing above that, I have to flip my tune. I would say I have to wipe my theory on this bear flag. But we can bear flag all the way up into that 107 area and still put in a lower high on the daily, and then like since the last high, the last drop. So that's the high to take out to flip my tune. But that's just the macro. But look, let's just look at it what it is. We've been bouncing bottom to top, bottom to top. That's how we're playing this channel. So right now, we are kind of trending up in the short term. So let's go look at some levels on the 4-hour that I'm seeing on this thing. So look, here's the big thing on Bitcoin. No, it looks a little squished here, so let me just kind of adjust that for you guys. This was a range we broke out of. Was about 90,045. You can see we were chopping in this range. This fucking range was horrible, by the way. I was miserable when we were here. I caught a few plays, but like, let's be honest. Who the hell is predicting these kind of moves? Like these swing up, and they take it right back. Pump up, take it right back. Pump up, take it right back. It was miserable. They dump it down, bring it right back. If you were range trading, you were killing it. But for me, I'm more of a trend trader. Like I like to trend trade. Like if the trend's up, I like to catch longs. If the trend's down, I like to catch short. And in the range, you really got to be patient and wait for those sweeps. That's more of like a Ben thing, because he's more of the SFP trader. He's more patient too. So anyway, look, we're consolidating. We broke out. What happens when you break out of any resistance? Usually that resistance becomes support. So what has price action been doing? It's been testing that as support. It's trying to basically get confirmation from buyers that, hey, or basically the market's telling it, like, hey, we're ready to either come back into this zone or we're going to move back up. Now, where's the next area of interest? If we're not going to come back into this zone, and it's still, look, they're still deciding, but I kind of leaning towards they're ready to move up. If they're not going back down, well, the next area up is up here. What's up, Ben? It's probably about 94.6, 94.5. That's our next level. Those are the big levels I'm watching. Those are the daily levels I'm watching. So it's basically 90,450 is our floor, and then about 94.5 is our ceiling on, like, the 4-hour daily. There's intraday levels and stuff like that we can find, but this is the more higher time frame. So I am long Bitcoin. I did actually get long earlier today, actually, when we actually had that little dump off this weekend. I picked up a little bit of Bitcoin. Why I did that? Honestly, it was just a little bit of SFP on the weekends. I was looking to build a long because I've been waiting for this level. Just like I explained to you why this level was important. I've been waiting for this level to retest. It was either here we were going to hold or we're going to come back down to the bottom of the trend if we were going to continue up. So this was my first real big level. And we started to hold, and I saw that we were starting to form a little bit of support there. So I took a crack at it this weekend. I hit my level, but when I got it, it was pretty legit. I'll tell you how I got in. All right. So this low right here, when they swept that, I had an alert. I was like, they're going to take either this low or they're going to come take these lows. So I had an alert here. And when I saw it close back in, I jumped into a long and it ripped. So that's how I got in on that. That was like right around CME close. That's when, or CME open. That's when basically the market's open, the CME market opens. So there's usually a CME gap or they hold price, which they held price like at the CME close from Friday. So when they, now that they can, there's no gap, there's no reason for them to like go back or forward for price. They're able to just do what they want, and they ripped. It was, it was just a play. I was like, worst case scenario, my invalidation's below that wick. But yo, so look, I'm thinking this. My target this week, if we can clear this high here first at 92, the next logical place is probably going to be this 94.5, in my opinion. If we break that, let's play it level to level. But if we break that, what's the next area? Well, 98, 99, that area would make a lot of sense. I'm going to show you another little indicator that kind of lines up with what I'm talking about. This is the 50 week. I'm going to go back out to the weekly and show you why the 50 week matters. When you're above it, you're bullish. When you're below it, you're bearish. What did we do last cycle? I'm going to move all this crap over real quick. I left all my scribbles behind, Ben. I'm like one of those kids that didn't clean up after he was done with his crayons and stuff. So look, when we talked about this bear flag, remember I said last cycle we had that drop and then we bear flagged? We retested that 50 week. What are we doing right now? Zoomed out. We're just bear flagging into that 50 week. So naturally, I have to think there's probably going to be a short up here. There's got to be a short or at least a de-risking if you're long. Why does this make sense? Look, we have this previous range that we were kind of in, right? Just from like here to here. There was a little bit of support here. And it's 100K. 100K it was just the line in the sand for so long with crypto or with Bitcoin. And it's like, it just wouldn't make sense for us not to go back up there and retest it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's kind of what I see on it. But look, if we get back up to the top of the channel, well, look what's waiting for us. It's that 50 week. So I'm very like, when we start to get up to 100K, I'm getting like risk off. If I'm in a trade, I'm closing out. If I'm in a long, which I am in a few longs, I don't know if I'll hold them that long though. But if, that's where I'm going to start probably cutting my, just getting risk off and letting the market make its decision because I know there's going to be a reaction up at this level. Maybe they wick it higher. Maybe they don't even get all the way up there. We don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, when we start to get up towards the top of this channel, wherever that may be, whether it's here or whether it's up here when that 50 week towards the top of the channel, I'm going to take profits. Or I'm going to be looking for shorts. I'm going to have my short cap on and looking for confirmation to go short. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin on the higher time frames. By the way, guys, on Sundays, I typically start with the macro because I like to know what's happening in the higher time frames to get me ready for the week. If you're looking for a trade in the short term, and this is not trade advice, but like if you're looking for reaction levels in the short term, like let's say you're trading Asia tonight, the levels I would be watching is obviously 92, this high right here that we put in on Friday. There's going to be liquidity up there. They're probably going to, we'll see what happens when we pass. And then there's some areas above us, right? We got this little patch here at 92.2. So maybe they wick it up. They take this liquidity here. I'm just thinking of trade ideas, right? Like there's that liquidity there. So maybe they do wick up, take some, And if we do get that like that sharp reaction or that handshake, like Ben likes to say, maybe there's a short. Maybe there's a short brewing right around the corner. I mean, we're at the top of the range. We haven't really broken this level yet. Until we break this level, I think we're just going to chop around. But hey, if we break it like we did last time, right around here, when we break through it, kind of runs up pretty hard. So we'll see. You think it's going to tip over? What else did you guys want to see? Somebody else mentioned something. I was trying to remember what the ticker was. VZ. Okay, let's go look at VZ. I'm not sure what that is. Verizon. I know Verizon is. All right, let me go out to a higher time frame and kind of get some context on this. What the? Is that a scam candle? That's got to be a scam wick, right? What the fuck is that? Let me see if that's on the daily. It's on the daily too? Am I looking at the right thing? Short term? Yeah. No, it's the New York stock. What? This is weird. That must have been like an API issue. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so let me get rid of the 50 week. What time frame are you trying to look at? I have to draw some lines on the higher time frame so I know what the lower time frames look like, if that makes any sense. Got to get some context built. So here, look, here's our support. This is basically our resistance, right? So we're in a range. We're chopping around. Very simple. So let's go down to a lower time frame. What time frame were you asking for? Short term, you said? So short term, like 4 hour for you? Is that like 2 hour? What is that for you? Oh, good. Don't worry about it. All right, look. We bounced off the bottom of the range. Did we take liquidity? No, we didn't. We didn't take the previous liquidity. But what I will say that it is starting to form, right? And I haven't looked at any other indicators. I'm just looking at the way the price action's forming. You got a little bit of bull flag. It's not perfect, but that's a bull flag. Right? We had an impulsive wave up. We took a couple highs on the 4 hour. Right? If you want to like look at it, this was actually a 4 hour low. We pumped up, we broke down. That's a new low, a higher low, and then we broke that high. So now it's starting to consolidate. It also kind of looks a little bit like a cup and handle, right? Little cup. Here's your handle. So how do these play out? Well, they play out kind of the same way, really. If it's going to break out, it's either going to take the length of the flagpole or the base of the cup, whatever you want to call it. You can run it from here, or you can run it from here, whether you think it's a cup and handle. Let's just go with the more conservative one. It takes you back up to 44, right? Takes you back up to this high, which makes sense, right? That's the high of the range. That was the last major drop before it hit the lows. So I would say in the short term, in the next few days, be looking out for a breakout. I think the key indicator for you would be, it's for the real breakout, is this. In the short term, this is a low right here. You see this low? This is a 4 hour low, 4 hour high, higher low. You need to take this high. If you can take this high, I'd be very confident that like, and I'm not talking about just a wick. I mean like a breakout and then maybe like a retest. That's where I would be like, okay, this is ready to go. This is confirmed for me with my system, and I'd be looking for like a long at that level. So, and that's just how I trade. Your trading may be different, but like that would be a confirmation of a breakout for me. So I'd be looking for something like that to form. So we'll look for that high around 41 to break. Look for a confirmation, maybe like a couple candle closures on like the 4 hour above it, maybe like one or two at least. Get like a nice little back test that higher low forms, and then I think that's your confirmation that this is ready to break out, and you can be looking up towards $44. It'll be the next area. And look, if this breaks down, I mean here, if it does break this level, it will move fast. I'll be 100% honest with you. It's gonna move quickly, and that's because the next major low is not till down here on the daily. It's till 30 bucks. You might get hung up a little bit around 36, this level right here that I'm like pointing at. But, it's going to be a rough one. I'm just going to say that if it does break this low. But so far, so good. I don't really want to take a look at indicators right now because, honestly, I don't think you need them. I really don't think you need them. I'm just looking to see if anything like sticks out or anything conflicts. The real thing you're looking for is volume. If you want to just keep it simple with an indicator, look for volume. Notice that volume right here is bull flagging out. If volume starts to break this flag, could be an early indicator. If you see volume precede price, and a lot of times it does, starts to go up like that, breaking highs, and price action still in here, that's when I'd be looking. I'm like, okay, that would be another confirmation for me that this thing's ready to break out. So that's what I'm thinking on Verizon in like the short term. And if you're talking about like short term, I mean, I don't really know where to go from here, man. Like, look, if it rejects here, then it's coming down. So then you start to look to these lows here around 39.6 on like the intraday stuff. But I think right now I really wouldn't fade it. Bitcoin's running. I wouldn't fade it. Yeah. No, that's good, dude. That's good. Look, here's the thing, Aiden. Trading is not complicated. Our brains try to make it complicated. And if you can explain something to someone, to anybody of any levels, trading you should be able to explain to a 10-year-old if you understand it, like truly understand it. It's not hard. It's pattern recognition. It's simple rules that the market just follow. You just need to know what the rules are. And if you're out there, like, I see so many influencers, they try to like label different, like, their trading style, and they're trying to coin it, and they make these crazy indicators. They're so complicated. I'm like, you don't need all that shit. You don't need any of that. All you need is some lines on the chart and understanding of how markets move. Understanding of liquidity, which is basically money in the market, stop losses, buy orders, limit sells. That's liquidity, and the market's always seeking liquidity. Something I learned from Ben and Dunkey. Believe it or not, I wasn't. I was just straight up like lines on the chart, market structure, trade. I never really paid attention to the why a why price does what it does. And then I kind of learned that when I joined Tactical Edge. It wasn't Tactical Edge back then. It was actually DeFi Rebels. Yeah, there's a nice little change of the name. Thought it was time to get serious. Plus, I think we were getting paired in like sci-fi, or I forget what they were saying. The algos were picking us up. It was a weird algo, so our stuff wasn't getting out there. I do trade patterns. So here's the way I trade patterns, and I'm gonna keep it real simple for you. Patterns are what draw my eyes to the chart. When I flip to a chart like this and I saw the bull flag, it gives me some idea of what price may do based off history. So now I can dive deeper. I can draw my trends. I can look for market structure shifts. I can look for divergences, volume. Then I can start to make my assessment. But the patterns are what initially draw my eyes to the chart. So yeah, I do trade patterns. Just like it's not like only patterns. I think it's like patterns that will like get me. It's like it's the title of a book. It gets me to pick the book up, and then I have to read the book to which is do the TA and really analyze it. Have you made a lot of money yet? I make enough to make a living. I haven't made I'm not rich, but I mean I live off my trading. I have other things going on, but I don't work a 9 to 5 or anything like that. Yeah, I know guys that are rich off trading. If you want to know the truth, I know guys that have been doing it for a while and have really like honed their craft. I don't want to throw names out there because I don't want anybody like fucking trying to rob them or anything like that. Um, and they've made really good money. You can make money. It's proof, basically, is what I'm saying. There are people out there who make a lot of money. I've been at it for about, I got in around 2022 ish when I started like crypto, and then I kind of got burnt in crypto. I was one of those people that like fucking bought the top thinking I was going to make a shit ton of money last cycle. So instead of just giving up like a lot of people do and just saying fuck crypto, I tried to learn how to trade. So it was a long journey for me. So it took me almost a year and a half, 2 years to even like get past like losing money and actually starting to make money. And then I was inconsistent for a bit, and then I started to dial it in a little bit. Now it's like as long as I don't do stupid shit, I'm good. But yeah, I've been at it for like I'd say 4 years maybe now. It's going on 4 years. I think Ben and Nick have been closer to a decade, the two of them. They're way more successful than I am. Like they're further along in their journey as some people put it. So they're doing very well. Those guys, and they're both full time traders as well. They're both full time traders as well. So I'm just kind of watching Bitcoin here because I am in a long. So I do want to keep an eye on it because my goal was to honestly, I was wondering if they were gonna stop at this high here. Remember I said this because of the level to watch, but we could also run up a little higher. Well, it's broken those levels, so I guess the next level is up here, almost at 93. It's this little 4 hour, but hey, maybe it just runs. Maybe it just runs. Yeah. So Jade, we do teach people. It's more of a. So here's what I recommend for you. I'm gonna add it in the chat. Let me get the. Actually, Ben, are you in here? If Ben's in here, maybe he can throw it in the chat. Just the website. So we have educational content that you can watch. Ben put together a whole video series, a bunch of modules and stuff like that. And it's about like intros, basics and stuff like that, and it'll help you get acclimated. But we do actually like do mentorships and stuff like that in the Discord. But we have all of our educational stuff is free. So it's kind of like a go at your own pace. The education stuff's there. Thanks, Parker. I appreciate that. Yeah, Parker just put it in there. So it's a go at your own pace type of thing, but all the content's free. We do have like paid mentorship, but that's like further along. I think if you're new to crypto, or you're not crypto, I keep saying crypto, but if you're like new to trading, you're new to the markets, start with all the free content. Join the Discord, it's free. Just be a fly on the wall, and that's the best way to learn because it'll give you direction, what you need to do, and then when you're ready to take it to like a next level, you can actually start, you can join in on like our live sessions and stuff, which we trade live, and then you can really like get like to the execution stage of it all. Because trading is really about, look, it's about learning the TA. You can learn that in a few, like it doesn't take forever to learn that. It's not a multi-year thing. Most traders within 6 months know everything they need to know and can develop a system that works. The hard part is developing the discipline to basically stick to your system and not deviate. Risk management can be taught, but you can't have like a gambler's mentality. It can teach you the right way to like manage your risk, and all that stuff can be done in 6 months. It's the hardest part is the development after that. It's like anything. Like you can learn the fundamentals of baseball, but you still have to practice the skill and get better at it. So camera angle change. Yeah, dude, I have a second monitor here, so I'm like all back and forth. I had to rearrange my whole setup. I was doing the solo monitor for a while. Said get ready to sell Bitcoin. I'm getting ready, man. I think I might actually take some profits. I might have to do it on my screen over here, though. Let me see, make sure you guys can't see it. No, you can't see it. I might have to close out my trade. I'm gonna take some profits. I'm not gonna close it out 100%, but I am in a long on one of our funded accounts. So we have a prop firm, Funded Prop. It's called Brightfunded. It's one of our affiliates. If you guys don't know what a prop firm is, it's basically like if you pass an evaluation, you pay a couple $100, and if you pass the evaluation to show you can trade, they'll pay you basically. You can get they'll pay you like 80 to 90% of what it is, so you can trade with other people's money. It's a simulation. It's not real, but like basically, it's like a pool of money, and they pay the winners essentially. It's the same thing. You're using the same charts. You're using real price action. I just took profits, by the way, on Bitcoin. So not to keep talking about all that, but let me show you real quick. So we hit this high right here. So we passed this high, but we got to this high, and then I saw that started to like reject. So that's enough for me. I'm like, okay, I'm good because I'm in from down here. So I'm like, that's good. That was a second level I was actually looking for Bitcoin to possibly reject. Yeah, gold did pay, dude. Dude, I don't remember, but I gave that call last week on gold. I gave that call on gold, and I didn't take the trade. I took silver instead. I'm so mad because gold did better, actually. I think I don't remember if I was in the voice channel for that. I was in there, you were there, but you were quiet when I was in there. I got in there and he was talking with another one of our members. As a pilot, actually. It's breaking still. I'm cool with this. If it look, I'm not taking a short on this yet, but I am watching it. I'm not convinced yet. I think I would need to see how this closes. I need to see like how the 15-minute closes, but it doesn't look like it. The volume is straight up right now, so I don't know if I would want to short this just yet. Oh, that was your dad. Yeah, your dad's cool, bro. Your dad's cool as fuck, man. Yeah, he's a cool dude. We were just listening to him. He was asking about the markets. Had some great questions, man. I wish everybody was like that. Just had like, it's not even like he just had questions. It's like he understood, but he wanted like more insight. Like he was asking the whys and really diving deep into it. And I like conversation like that, so I'm drawn to like the people that like inspire or like incite that kind of conversation or thinking. I like people like that. So your dad's a cool dude, man. I heard, yeah. I'm glad he joined up, man. That's pretty dope. He says he's into options. We're gonna do some stuff with options on Wednesday. I think we're gonna do a little bit of a kind of like a group think. None of us are option traders, but at the end of the day, we understand the markets. We understand TA. We just have to figure out how we can fit options into that and kind of learn, I guess, the kind of learn the ropes. It's just like the first time you futures trade, you have to figure it out. You said OBV on the bottom. This is just volume. This is just volume, not OBV. I just use regular volume. I just use a moving average. I just want to see consistency, with price action. And so far we're seeing it. Money flow looks good. The RSIs are still good. I mean, I don't see anything saying yet that it's time to short. I think the next level we start looking up towards is at that 93. But I think ultimately we're on our way up. Whether we get it in this push or whether we get a little rejection first, I think we're kind of making our way up to these higher levels on BTC. But yeah, I mean, look at that volume, dude. Look at that volume. Remember what I was talking about earlier? The little bull flag you look for. Look at this bottom right here. This volume, right? I'm trying to get it so you can see it. So this, see how volume broke? When volume broke, it actually broke before price really broke because price actually dipped, and then volume breaks out, and then price starts to rip and follow. So volume will oftentimes be your clue. And we were just talking about that with Verizon, with VZ, I think it was, or VC. Verizon, yeah, I think it was a Z. And we were just talking about that with Verizon. So yeah, no, that's a good just like example really. This could be a short here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna take it. Let me go see what it looks like over here. Yeah, probably. I think I'm gonna close out my trade though. Give me a second, guys. I gotta close the rest of my trade out because this looks like it's hitting a little bit of a wall at the moment, and I don't want to be in. I was just trying to get some context what was happening in that wick. I don't trade on the 1 minute, guys. I just sometimes you need to see. Sometimes you gotta pull the microscope out and you gotta like look in, see what's happening. All right, I'm closing that out. I was in an ETH trade and a Bitcoin trade. Damn, that actually would have been a sweet short right there. Where's Ben at? Did he take it? He said bull trap. Dude, they do this every Sunday. You never trust a Sunday pump. If I can teach you anything, I'll take a look at ERAS. If I can give you anything I know I've learned and just picked up on. I don't even say learn. Just you pick up on this shit after a while. Dude, if you pump over the weekends, always favor the fade afterwards because most likely they're gonna bring it back. Never trust a Sunday pump, dude. It's true. It's true. You just have to believe. It's hard. It's sometimes you're just in it. You're like, oh, it's gonna keep going. I'm gonna make some money, and then like you realize you're the sucker. Don't be the trap trader is the goal. Never be the trap trader. So, like that's it. If you ask yourself that question before you enter a trade, am I the one? Am I the dummy? Am I like the trap trader? Like you kind of stop yourself from taking some trades sometimes because if you can't answer it, that question, you're probably the trap. I hate to say it. Let's go look at. Wow, what is this? Alaska? Jesus, dude, what am I looking at? This thing is Pump City. All right, facts, truth, man. All right, so let's look at this right here. So this thing has been out for what, 5 years? So some kind of healthcare. It absolutely ripped. Did they get a contract or something with the government? Like something happened that we don't know about? So that's a big level right there. We're just marking out some weeklies. That's a level. And I don't think, fuck, dude, you got nothing above it. Probably up here somewhere. So let's go down to the daily, see if anything makes sense. So look, we broke this channel here. I actually can't even show you from that fucking daily. So context, look what volume is doing. That's a perfect example right now, the watch volume. What's price is making new lows here, right? But what's volume doing? Volume is making new highs. That is a bullish divergence in volume. That is a sign that you are probably bottoming out. Sellers are getting exhausted, buying's kicking in, all that kind of stuff. That is a bullish divergence. That was sign one. That's on the weekly, so you don't fade weekly divergences. You oftentimes give those a little bit of respect. So that's what happened there. We broke a weekly high. So this is the weekly high. We broke that. And price just took off into a low volume gap. It's starting to hit a little resistance right here. You could see how it chopped around in this area. So we were hitting that area. So it's going to get a little choppy here. Ultimately, if it continues and doesn't pull back beforehand, I mean, at some point, I think this $9 to $10 is probably going to be the target because there's not much between us. The candles move smooth through these areas, right? It's smooth. It's a single print is what we call it. Low volume gaps. There's so many names for it, right? But this one thing is true. There's not much buying and selling in these areas because price moves quickly to the next area. So the auctions up here, this is where people are trading mostly in this area. So I think prices, if it doesn't make its way back down to the last trading zone or auction house, as some people refer, it's going to make its way up to the next one. And if it gets accepted back above this $7 level into this little range right here, I'm just going to draw a little line here, right? So if it gets accepted back into this range, it's going to make its way back up to the top of the range. That's just how it works. And it's not always exactly like that, but like let's go back to this price. Look where we're stopping. We're hitting that range. So if we break back in, look for $9. I wouldn't go long in this thing right now. Straight up, if you missed it, you missed it. On a lower time frame, I mean, the volume is crazy. Like you can't even look for shorts here because look at the volume. Volume hasn't even broken down on the higher time on the 4 hour, and it just looks strong. Like I don't see a red candle in sight. That doesn't mean it's not gonna do that, but is what I'm saying is basically like, hey, like let's pay attention to volume. Let's wait for structure to give us a sign. There is a little bit of a trend here I'm kind of seeing. It's not the cleanest trend, but it's there, right? It's like something to follow. So that's maybe sign one. If we start to see this trend on the hourly start to get, violated, they start to break down from there, that might be signs that maybe there's a pullback coming. But I think while it's trending the way it is now, you just kind of just wait for the upside. Maybe start looking for offloading, de-risking, shorts, maybe in this $9 to $10 area. But because of this way this thing's moving, man, this volume looks like it's getting ready to break out again. And if the volume breaks this high here, it's probably going to keep running. Just look at this thing. The volume is just, but look, if it starts to fade here and price keeps pushing up, then I would get a little bit worried. So for now, I think it's just, look, those are the levels. There's not much to really do between that. If you're scalping this thing, you could probably find some intraday plays on it, but this is really volatile. These aren't small moves. This is 70%. Like, you really can't. I probably wouldn't mess around with leverage on this thing. This is more of like if you buy it and hold it for a little bit. You try to catch the higher time frame levels when it runs like that. Yeah, learn pricing. Yeah. Price action, market structure. ONDS? Yeah, I can look at ONDS. Some of you love that thing, dude. I got so many squiggles on here for this stupid thing. So let's get rid of that. I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, we were looking for the pullback onto this. It still could happen. So this thing broke out, right? It broke its all-time high. Kind of did what gold did already. Is it the all-time high? No, it's not the all-time high. This thing goes back further. Okay, I lied. It's not the all-time high. This is the all-time high up here. I don't know what this is there. We're just going to use that. That shit's like fucking weird looking. So it's broke its yearly high or last year's high, whatever the high it put in at like fucking $11. It does look like it's topping out a little bit because you see these like high wicks on the daily. This is like a sign that we're probably getting ready to pull back. I think that's probably why I had that squiggle in there. So what I would expect, look, at some point, I think they're probably like if they're going to continue up, this is the level to break. Is this $16 level? Maybe that's where it's going for. That's the next level to the upside on the higher time frames. To the downside, you're really watching this 1164. This is where we broke out of. We haven't really properly back tested. We still have this trend kind of going up. We get rid of some of this channels. We don't need any of this TA anymore. That's old stuff. So that was pretty much what I was thinking. Look, if we come down, I'd be looking for a bounce either here, or if it decides it wants to deviate a little bit further, maybe back down to the trend, which also lines up with this high here. So those are the two areas to the downside I'd be looking for bounces if this thing is going to continue up, assuming we actually do pull back. Maybe it doesn't do that. Maybe it just continues up. If you go down to a lower time frame, like a 4-hour, you probably have a trend here. Yeah, it looks like we do got a trend, right? Look, volume looks good. So I'm not trying to fade it. I'm just like kind of giving like areas that you could look for bounces if we pull back. Because the way I trade, I look for pullbacks and then I buy. I don't buy while the candles are green. I buy while they're red. I wait. I plan. I execute. Like that's pretty much it. It's like I'm like a set in a trap essentially, and I wait for price to get into my trap. So look, we're in an uptrend on the 4-hour. As long as we're above this trend, I don't think we're gonna make that. That's a good indicator we're not coming back down for that 1160. If we start to lose this trend on the 4-hour, that's probably open game. Why does it make sense? Well, look, this is the next 4-hour low. It just happens to be right at 12, which is also the back test of that high right there. It's the next logical place if we lose trend. So if this breaks down, you're looking for this level here as your next area of support or potential support. As long as we're above trend, your expectation is probably to go for this high at 16. So that's kind of really the best way I can break this one down right now. I don't know. Like, are you trading this right now? Like, what are you doing with ONDS? We do TA this one a lot. I never really asked if you're like an investor, if you're a trader. Like, you don't have to answer. It's personal shit. I know. Just curious. It would help me TA for you a little bit better. Because if you're just like a long term, you're holding. Yeah, I mean, look. All right, so I don't know what your goals are, but I know this. Every time an asset hits its all-time high, especially a high that goes back multi-year, there's usually a big pullback that comes. So I don't know what your plans are with this thing. I would say when you get to $16 area, maybe keep an eye on your portfolio. That's all, just to see what happens. Because if things start to come down, I mean, if you're holding for a long term, don't listen to anything I'm saying. Don't listen to anything I'm saying anyway. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just saying, just watch that $16 level. I don't know what your plans are. But yeah, dude, that's a big level to watch. Above that, I really don't know. I mean, it could just if it keeps running. I mean, you have to play the fib extension game, or you start to play the whole number game, like $20 next, maybe. It just could be one of those type of things. Or you just watch market structure end of the day. When market structure on the daily shifts, that's usually your sign to get out. If you're like a medium term swing trader, like a couple month, multi-year, you got at 9. You got in at 9. So you're in down here. Good for you, man. You got into the consolidation. That's smart. It's consolidating. That's a good. It's good stuff, brother. I crashed ODS last week. Good stuff. Google and WMT. Let's go look at Google. Did I miss somebody else's? Somebody else had something on there. I don't want to skip over anybody else first. Alright, so let's go look at Jujul. Yeah, I said it wrong. On purpose. In case anybody was wondering. Okay. Let me get rid of volume real quick. Let's just look at the raw chart. Fucking Google, bro. Google's been killing it. Holy shit. Yeah, man, like higher time frame, dude. This thing is so far away from its last like major high it put in. I gotta go down to like the daily to find a trend. I mean, I guess the best case scenario is you got like maybe like this little trend kind of going. It's not even that clean. It's not a clean trend, but it's there, right? Maybe a more localized trend too. Yeah, that's not terrible. So you have that a little bit. So the trend's up, obviously. And what's it been doing? It's been flagging out, breakout, flagging out, breakout. Same thing, man. Flagging out, breakout. So until it stops doing that, the trend's up. If I had to pick a psychological number, I would say 350 is probably the next psychological number for it to go. Let's just see how it's played in the past. Look, so does it move in 50s? Well, it stops at 200. You got a little reaction. You stopped at 250. You stopped just shy of 300. And now you're stopping around just a little bit above 300. But maybe if it keeps going, maybe it'll go 350. It seems like every $50 to $100, it's getting a little push. These moves, if I'm just going off the measured moves, right? Because these things kind of always usually line up. See, like they're always usually about the same length. Because whoever's buying, they're doing it in big, big numbers. So they're pushing the price up. Or maybe they're selling and they're letting the price go up. We don't know yet, but let's say. So that takes us to the 350. If it's the same length as this and this, these last two impulses, right? 350 would probably be the target. Just about. So we still have to clear the high. These are flirting with the high right now. So let's not even get ahead of ourselves. This is me getting too excited about new all-time highs. So you got to break this 328. If you continue up from 328, your probably next target is that 350-ish. Probably not a bad area to like if you're in a long, if you take profits. That's usually what I do when you get to the highs again. Just because sometimes you're going to get a little pullback. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, this thing's looking strong, man. I would not fade Google right now. If this trend on the higher time frame starts to break, I'd probably start to think it. But right now, market structure's up. Everything looks up on this thing. Let me see what the volume looks like. Volume's coming down, so that's definitely not a good sign. That's an early indicator. So volume's starting to fade as it continues to pump. That's a volume divergence in price action, right? So you don't usually want to see that. So this could just be like a blow off top we're witnessing. But you never know with these things. They could just keep going for a little bit. We're not trying to guess tops. At least that's not my game. Nice little retest on BTC thesis still intact. I think we got the retest, dude. I think we got it this weekend, if I'm being honest. I think this was this 89K. My two areas were always this. It was either we're going to come down to here or we're going to come down to this 87-ish area, maybe down here. We got the bounce here for now. So we'll know. We'll know soon. I mean, look, on the 4-hour, BTC is looking good. It's breaking highs. But really got to break that 94.5. It don't mean shit until we break that. So this is not a lower high or higher low until we break that. And we either break that, that's confirmed. Then it continues up. But because it could always just do this, like, right? Let's be realistic. Could always do this and then come down. Like, that's always a possibility. Like, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves with this stuff. Like, you have to be open to that kind of thing. So, but for now, it looks good. I don't like the volume on BTC right now. But again, we're coming off of a weekend. False move Monday. God, you have to be skeptical. You have to be. If you're not, you haven't been trading long enough. Coming after low weekend volume and the markets are opening, you always got to be on your toes about whatever move they give you on the weekend. Right now, we're getting a weekend pump. But this is after CME, so they just chopped sideways, and now we're getting that pump. This could be them clearing the board to bring it down. Or this could just be them front running something. We don't know. When I say them, I mean like the market makers, the whales, what they're doing. But volume coming down isn't a good sign. So maybe they're gonna go sweep up to bring it down later this week. That's always a possibility. I mean, I could tell you right now, like SPY doesn't look great. Fucking SPY looks like it's getting ready to come fucking down hard. Um, it's just sitting up here, volume fading, consolidating, getting ready to like just dump. So if I mean, I'll be 100% honest with you. If SPY comes down, I mean, I don't see a world where Bitcoin just continues up while SPY is going down. So that's just me. I know a lot of people would probably agree with me on that one. And look, at the end of the day, let's be real here. Look at Bitcoin. Look at the volume. What's that telling you? That's a divergence. This is a sucker's rally. Until it proves otherwise, that is what my thesis is on this. I'm always gonna have it in the back of my mind that I'm always ready for this thing to roll over and the music to stop, and then somebody's gonna get fucked, and I'm not gonna be that person. So I'm like, that's how I'm treating the market. I'm not full on risk. I'm taking trades as level to level, and I'm getting out, and I'm just protecting my capital. And I think that's the mindset that most traders are probably in right now. This is people offloading because they're ready. They know what's about to happen. People who aren't going to wait to the bottom to realize, oh shit, we're in a bear market. So you might be right, dude. The Clarity Act vote, you might be right. I was supposed to look at some other stuff too. I did look at IRS, got Google, WTM, INTC. What is INTC? Intel. Oh, Intel looks. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't like that volume though. All right. Let's go to the weekly real quick. All right. So, man. So, all right. Let's just put in the context here, right? What's happening on the weekly? We're in a downtrend. Until this high gets broken, it's still in a downtrend. This low, new lows, new lower highs, new lower lows. So it's in a downtrend. But I will say the volume is running up. So it's getting to a point where it's going to make a decision. Yeah, it's going to have to make a decision soon. It's going to have to either attack this high around 50. Let me get rid of all my stupid scribbles. Sorry. So it's either going to attack this high at 50 here, and it's going to have to decide, like, does it want to have that break of structure? Do they want to like start marking up? This is the level to break at the moment on the higher time frames for things to flip. Anything up to that is a lower high on the weekly. The daily looks good. I mean, the daily is kind of doing this like this ranging thing. But look, the one thing I know is like when you get these little channels or these like these like rising channels, they're usually not a good sign. Especially when volume's fading, and this is on the daily, by the way. So this could be like the start of distribution. Maybe they're building shorts, right? They keep sweeping liquidity, right? So maybe they're building shorts. Come down, volume's starting to show it. There are some targets to the downside. I'm just kind of trying to get both sides. So look, maybe the target is this 50-51. I think you got to get a little defensive up here if you're in a long, or if you're bullish. This is where you start to get defensive if it continues up. To the downside, you got to watch the CME gap, right? This is the obvious area that they could come back for at some point. They left this behind. It also happened to be, and I don't want to put too many boxes in here to confuse you guys, but this is the previous range, right? It was consolidating. It broke out. You could see by the CME gap. Once it broke out, the accumulation, that impulse left behind this gap. They never retested it. So there's always that possibility that they're going to come back for this at some point. And I bet you if you waited long enough, if you're patient enough, you probably could catch the retest. My guess is if they fade this 50 to 51 level and they pull back earlier than that, then I'd expect the CME gap to serve as an area to look for longs. That would just make sense to me. I'll be looking for longs. But if they run up and take the liquidity up here and then they run it back down, I would be not so. I probably wouldn't be looking for longs because it's really about where the liquidity's at. Like right now, it's above us. If they don't take it, that means they're leaving it there, maybe to come back for it. So my assumption would be to be looking at this level for a reaction or looking down here. These are the two areas on the higher time frames I'll be watching. And this channel, man, it's kind of a clean little channel, right? Maybe you get maybe you can time a short. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I don't want to go looking for shorts on this thing right now, but I mean, look, what happens here? Let's break it down real quick. If we were looking for a short, how will we catch one? Let's get rid of the channel. Let's just look at raw price action, what it does real quick. Think of doing puts. Yeah. So look, we break the high, right? Price breaks the high. It chops around for a little bit, breaks down. It comes in back tests, right? See the little back test right there? And then it confirms a downtrend. So we're looking for something similar here. Can we sustain above the high or do we break down? And if we break down, we have a trend. Look, we got a trend right there. So if we were looking for a short, sorry, that's some background noise, guys. So if we were looking for a short, I would probably be looking for something like this to happen. Us to break down, look for that confirmation, and then look for the boom, just like it did back here. Just like we did back there. Nothing different than this. Look, I could even draw a trend line from here to here, and it does exactly the same thing. So that's what you're looking for. Just looking for the same play. So if you're like a shorter time frame trader, that's what I would look for the short. I wouldn't be looking for longs up here. And if you're looking for longs, you do it in reverse, guys. Look. See the trend? You wait for the trend to break. You wait for an area of support. You look for that confirmation, which is the 4-hour shift. Happened when we broke this high right here. Boom. And you can run it up. And you can look over and over, you'll see the same patterns. When you see this, it's a gift from the market. Just don't wait, don't overplay it, basically. You usually can get away with the third time it happens, maybe a fourth, but then after that, the market becomes too complacent, someone's going to get fucked over. So, but yeah, sorry, that's me going in. Silver Fox. I don't know what that means. Is that code word for something, Ben? Dude, look at the dude. My freaking chart looks ridiculous right now. It looks like I'm doodling. That's how you know I'm working right now. What else you guys gonna look at? Baba? What the hell is Baba? Oh, Alibaba. Dude, didn't that thing get smashed? Yeah, it did. It did get smashed down back in last cycle. All right, so I always have to look at the higher time frames. Let me know what time frame you're interested in on this thing, so I can make sure I'm not like if you're talking about hourly, 4 hour, then I'm over here looking at the weekly. I don't want to be giving you like. I think it's beautiful. All right, so let's talk about some weekly levels here. Well, we got this low. I'm just being really simple about this right now. So you got that low, you got this high here of interest, all right? And then the next level up is really up here. I mean, this level drags across, right? So you can see how that drags across there. So that's an important level. We're kind of hitting a level right now, but I don't know if it's super strong level, but we're kind of up here, like right around here is kind of makes sense. You can see how price gets a little choppy there. So, and then you got the highs. So I'm going to break it down on the lower time frames, what's happening. Look, we just talked about this scenario, right? So you're going level to level, and what's it doing? Same pattern over and over. Pumps up, flags out, pumps up, flags out, pumps up. And what are we doing right now? Kind of flagging out. So we'll see if it continues up. Right now the trend is up on like the daily, so you can't really fade it. Volume doesn't look too great. It's not impressive is basically what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it looks bad, but hasn't broken any lows yet, but it's not looking great. Could just be a lower high getting put in. If I go pull a fib, let's see where we're at on the back test. I mean, we're not there yet. We're at about the 50% mark, but we're not at that like 618 usually where where you would see a lower high get put in. That's like the juicy area to be looking. It doesn't always happen, but it's a high probability zone. If it lines up with other things, there has to be other reasons, not just that level. So let me get rid of my squiggles. So look, I'd be tracking this. I'd be tracking this little pattern right here. It's not super clean. This is choppy price action, but look, what's this gonna do? Is it gonna break to the upside, or is it gonna just start to fade? Do we have a trend? We don't really have a trend here. I think you just need to watch this. I would imagine, look, if it starts to break back down below this 129 level, this is probably going to be invalidated. You don't really want to lose this and break back into this old range, because if you break back into this old range, you get accepted back into here, you could go all the way back down to the bottom. Not saying that's going to happen, but usually you kind of want to hold these levels. So I think this is important. Right now you are holding above, look, you're holding above a really important level too, because you're the previous breakout, the high. So that's a key level, and that's a good level to look for a bounce. It could dip down a little bit further and it would be okay. But right now, I think you're on breakout watch or breakdown watch. It's getting tight. It's going to make a decision. But these do have a chance of going to the upside a little bit more than the downside. Let me just take a look at market cipher. I mean, look, I look at the weekly. The weekly's completely reset. And if we look at just, let me get rid of this real quick. Collapse panel, there we go. Just watch the indicator down here, right? I'm going to put a blue line in here. Every time the weekly's at the bottom, we'll just watch what price action's at. Right now, every time it's at the bottom, and price action's consolidating, it's usually, once it starts to curve back up on the weekly, that's usually when the breakout gets ready to happen. So you're waiting for this momentum to start to shift back up on the higher time frames. It's already doing it on the daily, but it hasn't really gotten full commit on the higher time frames. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. Let me get rid of all these indicators. Sorry, I'll go back to this. Don't look terrible, man. It don't look terrible. And I'm like, look, let's figure out what the measured move would be. If this is a flag, right? Well, let's just take the flag pull. Let's go with that move right there. Probably go a little higher than that. 228. What's that? 228. Look at that. That's TA right there for you guys. The measure move would take us up to like the next kind of like area I would be watching on the charts. On like the higher time frames, which is like that 220, that 230, 228 level right around here. That's where the breakout would take you. So that would make sense. When you get confluence like that, that's usually, it's kind of gives you a little bit more confidence in a trade. You still need confirmation and stuff like that. Sorry, bro, you don't know ball. Are you guys talking about basketball? I don't know shit about basketball. You're right. You'll never catch me talking about like anything sports, really, except for like MMA. Maybe some wrestling, stuff like that. Not like fucking WWE wrestling, like actual wrestling. I'm kind of into those things a little bit more. Anyway, what else are we looking at? What else are we looking at? XRM. Yeah, I got you. You wrote that a few times. My bad. I was ignoring you. No, I wasn't ignoring you. I really didn't see it. I'm looking at the wrong thing. XRM, like crypto? Like this XRM? The one that's like XR. Okay. Just want to make sure. Yeah, I heard XRP called a bid. I mean, so it's up, man. Look, it broke that high right there. You got the back test on the weekly, right? So you had a little cup and handle, boom, broke out. And what's the measured move? About a cup and handle, right? Let me go look at the daily. Probably is. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, you're at the measured move. I mean, that maybe you might be there, dude. You might be there. It stopped at 600 exactly. This might be the extent of the move. The volume isn't really. This is the key thing for me. Look at the volume. Volume's down, and they got that blow off. If I were in this trade right now, I'd be taking profits. That's just me. When I see stuff like that, I have to think that way. Let me go look at an older chart real quick. I know it always depends on what chart you're looking at, whether you get good data or not. It's not on a bunch of stuff. That's the problem. Looking at Bybit swap. Is there older data on this? It's XMR, right? I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, I just typed in the wrong ticker. That's why. There it is. Mexi always has old shit on there. There it is. This fucking Mexi always has older shit. Alright, so look for 5. See, this is why I needed that older chart. I need the old data. So look, 520. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a price discovery, but we talked about why that level made sense. Volume is coming down. If you get a pullback, you're looking for this level to hold. I think if you start to get acceptance back into this level here, no bueno. As long as you can hold above this, there's there's hope still that this thing could continue. I don't know what's gonna happen on it. It's a fucking crypto, man. It's all coin. Volume's up in the short term, right? I go down to the hourly. I mean, it does look like it's getting ready to pull back. It looks a little, this is just a little overextended and a bunch of green candles in a row. So probably going to see a pullback in the next day or two on this thing. I'd be watching 513, and then you probably look down to here. Maybe we got a little bit of a trend. I don't like the trends on these things, man. These things are volatile. Like, trends don't always line. They look so much better on stocks when you're trying to draw a good trend. So the trend's all the way back down here around like 450, 430-ish. So I think that's got to be the area. You got to watch if it breaks back down below 513. You have to start looking at this 430, 420 area. But look at the volume on like the daily. See how it's just making new lows? That's not a good sign. You don't want to see that with a breakout. It's always scary for me. Shit, I gotta take out one more trade. What else are we looking at, guys? What time is it? About 10:30. I got a few more I can do. Rigetti, we can look at that. So this thing's fucking insane. If anybody doesn't know what this thing's massive. This pump that it had is like, it's no joke. It's like a 300% pump there. And it's just back testing, right? And what's it back testing? It's back testing this high right here. Simple. I know I got a little bit more TA on here, and I'll get into that in a minute, but look, broke out, you're back testing, you're trying to hold the previous high, which is normal in cycles. When you have these big impulses, a lot of times you do come back. So that's always something you kind of see it over and over again. So as long as it remains above that level, I mean, it's just channeling out right now. It's creating like a little bit of a high. I mean, we can argue maybe just right up here is the high, right? So you're in a little bit of a range. If you can break this range, the next area is this $44 level. So break 29, 28, 29, and you got a chance at 44. Maybe you go higher, but that would be the next level. To the downside, you're watching this $21 level, man. You start breaking this 21, you start to open up the floodgates for all this liquidity here to be the next target. And I guarantee if it comes down, this is not an easy place to trade. If you're looking for pullbacks to buy, like take longs, and you're looking for like bounce levels, this is not easy. When you see these liquidity like curves like that, they they could snap price down straight through it, or they could just grind it down slowly the way they grinded it up, and makes it very difficult to try to like catch bounces or even short, to be honest. So you're really looking for this 21 to hold. It gets down here, it starts to get a little messy, I think. But hey, man, I might have a shot. Let me look at the indicators real quick. I mean, there's a little bit of hope here on the daily. I mean, the weekly's reset completely, right? Look at the weekly completely reset down here. If the weekly starts to curve up, so if the weekly stock RSI starts to curve up here, right, we will form bullish divergence. This low to this low, but the highs have created new highs. So that means the weekly would have completely reset when you created a new higher low. That's a hidden bullish divergence. That is continuation pattern, and the trend right now is up. Right, this is the trend, and we're up. We're above the trend. So that would be more of an indicator, a stronger indicator than on the higher time frames that we're probably going to go up a little higher. So keep an eye on the weekly. You can probably even go down to a lower time frame, like even the 3-day, and see what it's doing, and see what the 3-day is doing. The 3-day's already printed it. It's already printed its hidden bullish divergence. So you're on that trend. You put in a higher low. You got your hidden bullish divergence on the 3-day. That's like the halfway point between the 1-day and the weekly. Just makes sense to check it out if you're just flipping just between the weekly and the daily. You're missing a lot of context in between. So sometimes I pick those middle time frames. I can check out XRP after this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like it's getting ready for a breakout. I mean, it's going to either make or break here on this trend. If it holds this trend, you're good. Money, it's good money. And I think it's going to run probably up to that 44 if it break 29. You lose this trend, and you obviously have that $21 support, and then after that, you open up the floodgates back down to 10 bucks possibly. So that's kind of my analysis on this one. Right now, it's in consolidation. Play the range. Zoom in on like a 4-hour. You can probably get a little bit more context on it. You can go to fixed range volume profile, pull that bad boy, see where you're at in the profile. Right now, you are at the POC. For me, that's a no trade zone. You want to be taking your longs down here at the value area low of the range, and you want to be making your shorts up here. You don't really want to mess around at POC too much. That's point of control. Yeah, man, no problem, dude. Somebody asked for XRP. I guess I gotta go look at XRP. We looked at XMR. That thing was ripping. I mean, XRP is kind of the same thing. Alright, so here's what's gonna happen with XRP. It's gonna go to shit. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's go look at it on a daily. Alright, I'm gonna get new levels. We're gonna remove all drawings. We're just gonna mark out fresh levels together. That's your weekly low. Below that's your wick. You don't want to lose that. If you have to look at everything just from the top, right, that's your downtrend. And what did you do at the top of that trend? So that's your weekly trend. You went up to the trend, you reject it. So right now you are between a rock and a hard place. You have your low at 183, and you have your high around 239 that you need to break. In order for this thing to get bullish at this point, and the way the market structure is formed right now, the last time you broke this trend, like, right, look, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you need to, like, basically break through with volume, and, like, it's got to run. So If it's going to have a chance, it's going to put a higher low in and it's going to do something like it did here. If it's going to break out, I don't think it is, but maybe it does. I don't know. See how it like had a higher low? So you test the trend, maybe you put a higher low in, and if it breaks trend, takes this high around 234, then you probably have a shot a little higher, maybe up to like $273 would be the area I'd be targeting up here if it breaks out of this range. But it's got to break this range here. So, but in the meantime, I mean, this is just Chop City right here, man. I wouldn't even fucking touch it down here. It's just, it's this whole area is Chop City. So you're really not in a good trading zone until you get back down to somewhere in these lows here. That's probably the best area to look for long, but it's hard to take a long. Maybe down here you could probably find one. Let's say you get a pullback to like 196, this low here. You might be able to look for a long there. There's probably some confluence there with a Fibonacci pull. It's like in between the 786. It's like right there. Technically we're bouncing. If you just pulled from this fib, the fib from this low here, oh, there's that SFP. Did I go short? I think I did. I'm gonna go check real quick. I have to remind myself. Yeah, I'm short. I did take the SFP. I didn't tell you guys, but I did take the short. I'll tell you in a minute why I did it, but I didn't want to be like that guy. It's like I'm going short and people will fucking smash it because I said something. You have no clue who I am or what I do. Like if I'm actually a good trader or not. Just follow some guy on the internet. I didn't want one of those situations. I don't think you guys would do that anyway, but anyways, look, if you get a pullback into this area around like 196, 195, I'd be looking for like a higher low there. It could potentially be putting one in now. We don't know. We really don't know. This is like a no trade zone for me. But I mean, higher time frames. I mean, that's like 240, and then your support's around 185. You have some maybe potential support around $2. Call it 196, $2. Other than that, those are your levels on XRP. If you can break this higher time frame trend, man, you got a chance at popping up a little bit. I don't know if it's going to do it because look at the volume. Again, volume is just into the dirt. It's just making new lows. So I think any rally here, as you can see, look what they did last week. It rallied up in this one candle. 16%, they smashed it right back down. That's just sell pressure, man. People are taking profits. They're closing out. I don't know if right now is a good time to buy. I don't think the bear market's even fully there yet. I think we're just started. I think if cycles, if you're thinking crypto, guys, and I'm just talking crypto, you're thinking what happens? You get a 4-year cycle. 3 years up, 1 year down. Well, we just had 3 years up. What do you think's happening next? Probably 1 year down. And Bitcoin just started its descent. I mean, Bitcoin has only made its first impulse down. Likely it's going to have an ABC correction just like it did last cycle. Right? Here's your A, B, C correction. After a 5-wave impulse up. So we've only had our A and we're starting to see our B wave. There's going to probably be another leg down on Bitcoin. That's my guess. I'm probably going to come back down to this level here. I don't know. I don't actually know. Nobody knows what it's going to do. If I had to guess, though, I would say this is probably a point of interest for me. 70K. And then below that would be 50 to 51K. But I think 70K would be the first area I'll be watching. Because why does that make sense? For buying, I'm saying. Well, it's taking out these lows here, so there's liquidity obviously built up, and it's a back test. I gotta turn off my alerts. Sorry, guys. I'm getting a bunch of bullshit alerts on BTC right now. Oh, yeah, it's flirting with my trend line. Yeah, so look at that was an SFP. We talked about that too. We said there's a possibility that it comes up here, sweeps the liquidity, and comes down. If it doesn't take this one, we're looking for it to come up, sweep, a couple $100 above, and then get closures. And I even said it. I said those candles look bearish. And it might have been like it wasn't on the hourly. What time was that? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was talking about something else. But anyway, this is what you want to see. This is what you want to see in an SFP. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go to zero. You know, I got to monitor it, but yeah, it's a sweet, sweet little trade here. Appreciate all the follows. I appreciate everybody coming in, tuning in. It's pretty lively for a Sunday. Usually it's dead sometimes. It's like hit or miss Sundays. So I guess now, right, if I'm monitoring this trade, and I'll kind of walk you through my thinking process, and if you guys have anything else we could look at. Yeah, we did look at SPY already. I can take a quick look at it in a minute. So I guess I'm watching this trend here. If I start to see a reaction on this trend, because this is the next logical thing for price to do, right? It's just to revert for the next level. So there's two levels I'm probably watching. It's probably down here, this high right there, and I'm watching this trend. If price starts to get some nice little buy pressure there, I'm probably just going to close my trade out and get done with it. But if I'm looking for confirmation of the short, that's just the SFP trade. The confirmation would come from the lower high getting put in and then the rollover. So that's really what we're looking for, to see if this is just going to be a pump up to grab liquidity to bring it back down. So that's kind of my thinking. That's how I'm going to track this trade. And we'll see. What was this? What you guys hodl to? I hodl to the moon. Don't hodl, bro. Don't be a hodler. That's so. I used to be a hodler, and I had to learn the hard way. Unfollowed. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that, bro. Did I go against your thesis or what you thought was gonna happen? That happens, man. That people are not gonna agree on things. At what price do I think you should enter Bitcoin this year? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I just told you my plan. My plan was down here. My plan is to start, and this is just me, guys, and I'm not financial advice. You guys do what you want. I think 70K is like a starter position. I think if I was gonna DCA, it's gonna matter. Two things are gonna matter for me. It's gonna be time of the year, time in the cycle. I gotta get rid of that alert. It's gonna drive me nuts. So it's time in the cycle, right? And it's also gonna be essentially like where we're at on price action. So if we're like here and it's only February, I don't know if that's the time to buy. But if we're here, if we start to get down to these levels and I see it's closer to like the summer, maybe the end of the year, that would make a lot more sense for me. So I'm looking at the $70 level and I'm looking at the $50,000 level. I'm not buying until I see how price reacts down there. Look, bottoming. Look what happened last cycle. It wasn't just like you hit the bottom and then you went up. Nah, you consolidated for a bit. There's going to be time. You just want to kind of make sure you're close to it. You don't have to get it perfect, but you want to you don't want to be buying, you don't want to be blowing your wad and going all in if you're DCAing or something at 70K and then we end up going down to 35K. Then you're going to be kicking yourself like, damn, I could have got it 50% cheaper, you know? So it's like, yeah, I can do Brevis. That's just kind of my thinking on BTC. That's probably where I'll start maybe dipping my toes a little bit if I like the reaction. And here's the thing, as a trader, I can always do this. If price comes down here, there's probably going to be a reaction. Maybe it does this. Guess what? I can still get out. Like I can throw a stop loss in there, I can get out, I can minimize my risk and just get in lower. Or just be okay with it and just hold it, depending on what my plan is. You said Brevis? Yeah, I can do Brevis. Is this yeah, I'm seeing your post, dude. What are you posting? WDC 220 PT. I gotcha. I didn't realize, man. You're like in between the iHodl thing, so it kind of got mixed in there. Let me do that one first. Move sideways. This dude's such a hater, Steve. You're a hater, buddy. But it's okay, man. Must mean I'm doing something right. You said WTC. Wise Tech, right? I look at the right thing. or SLV, no, WDC. I'm looking at the wrong. Western Digital Corporation. Jesus, dude. The fuck do you find these charts? You're always finding some crazy ass chart. Well, fucking broke out of a crazy. I gotta go to a higher time frame for this one. I'm gonna go with 3 month. I need to see what's going on here. Jesus, look at that. This is a 3 month chart, by the way. 3 months. Broke out and it ripped. Volume starting to flatten out, right? That's usually, you had your pump, volume preceded price, then it ran. Now you're starting to see a little bit of a fade. What do I think happens next? I don't know. Let's see what's the weekly's telling us. We got a trend. All right, let's start from here. We'll go from this little pivot point. Trends develop. If you guys haven't figured this out yet, like when you're drawing trends, trends will develop. They'll steepen and they'll, and you have to just kind of stay with the price action, hit it from the areas that make sense. That takes a little bit of like experience in the market, but like if you're a trend trader, you start to kind of figure it out. It's whatever makes sense, whatever has multiple touches. You need at least you need at least 3 touches to be a trend. And you have multiple touches here, so you got it. So as long as it's above trend, trend's still up. Your target to the top, I mean, 221, man. Like you said, 220. You think it's going back up there? You might be right. You might be right. Let me go look at the 4 hour. I mean, volume's crazy up on the 4 hour. It looks like you're breaking out of a little bit of a downtrend here, right? You had a little bit of a flag. If you break this high right here at 201, this level you're at, you're going back to the all-time high. So yeah, you're right, dude. You're very close. You're very close to hitting it. Everything looks good. Indicators look good. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go after that. That's really the question, right? I guess, who knows? Just keep an eye on this one. As long as the trend's up, just keep watching the trend. If it starts to break trend, that's probably your first red flag to maybe get out if you're in it. It's good stuff, dude. Yeah, a little bit of a little falling wedge pop. WDC. SPY. It's Robinhood. I've never traded on Robinhood. I trade primarily on crypto and funded accounts, like crypto related accounts. So like BTCC. Do a lot of BitFi. I used to trade on MEXC. Don't trade on them anymore. I don't trust them, if I'm being honest. Most of my trading's done on Brightfunded. Just like any crypto that has like futures for like stocks and gold and stuff, because I like trading commodities. 220 on gravy. I feel that, dude. Yeah, Christ, yield percentage. SPY we looked at. I'll just give you another, like, just quick analysis on SPY. Then I'm going to hit those last few, and I'm probably going to call it after that, guys. I fucking said it, dude. I said it in the beginning. Did I not say this? I was like watching for shorts up here, right? I told you I was building shorts on SPY. And this happened in the last couple hours. We ran down. I'm short as hell on this thing. But that's what it's been doing. It's been taking the highs, sweep, sweep, sweep. We zoom out, and look where we're at, dude. Like, how can you be bullish on this thing? Sorry, I got this little... Drag that back. I can't be bullish on this thing when I'm at the top of this channel. This multi-year parallel channel. It's super hard to be bullish on it. With the volume, look at the freaking volume. Oh my god. It's like, don't get me started on that. So look, volume's telling me down. The pattern, the trend, are telling me that this thing is getting overcooked. It's starting to consolidate, and we're getting that rising wedge. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I don't want to sit there and pretend to like, hey, it's going to go down, but I'm telling you now, if this trend breaks, and this trend's from the very bottom of the channel, let me go back down to the daily so I can show you like kind of what it looks like. This trend's from here all the way up to here, right? If this trend breaks, where do you think price is going? My first stop is here. Probably the previous high, 61.50. Makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, wouldn't be crazy if we made our way back down to 5,500, maybe a little bit lower, back down to the bottom of the channel. Could take time, and maybe the channel, the floor, rises up, right? So maybe it does take some time. Maybe this is not like a big move. It makes its way down here, right? Over time, over like the next year, and then we find the low. Possibility. Maybe it does it just one shot. That would suck. But I could see something like that happening. I think that'd be like the ultimate area I would be looking. If I were looking to accumulate, I would probably I'd be looking for a trade here at 61.50. I would definitely be looking for a long, like a swing short, a swing long, maybe a scalp at these levels. I'd probably be looking for a higher time frame accumulation down here on this 5,500, maybe just around that level. Yeah, as long as it stays in that channel. Now, if this channel breaks, and this trend breaks, right here, get the fuck out. That's all I'm gonna say. Just get out. Sell everything. Move in the gold. Bury your gold in your backyard. It's gonna be really nasty. Invest in guns, bullets. Pretend like get a bunker. Things are gonna get really nasty if the S&P breaks that low. SPDY. Oh, you said SPY, dude. I'm reading it right there. SPY. Oh, you want SPY? Like, what's the ticker? SPDY? Or you want something else? SPDR? This? It's the same thing. SPDY. I don't even know what that is. This right here? Life expectancy at birth? I don't know. Is this a crypto? What are we talking about here, dude? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I just went over this. SPDR. Okay, you're saying you gotta type in the right shit. I don't. Is this it right here? This doesn't look like it, dude. Alright, I'm gonna skip this one right now. I don't know what this is. I am typing SPDR, dude. I don't see it. It's a fund, an ETF. This looks like nothing to me. Alright, sorry, dude. You're getting skipped. My bad, brother. There's been a lot of typos. I got like 2 more in me. Let's see who's got. Can't be doing this. Trade just like the pros by copy trading Alertsify. Check it out, my bio. Tyrone Bigums. Look, if you go copy trade some guy who has the same name from a fucking Dave Chappelle skit, you deserve to lose your money. Just gonna say that. Don't copy trade anybody. We could look at NNE. I'll look at NNE because I actually have that. So Nano, I actually have this TA'd. So look, this is what I've been watching for on this thing. We're at the bottom of the channel. It had its deviation. We took the liquidity. This is huge, right? This low right here at $28, we swept that and we closed back in inside the channel. Expectations, this thing's going to start running back up. That's what I'm thinking. The RSI say the same thing. Let me go look at Market Cipher real quick. Market Cipher kind of agrees with it on the weekly. I mean, it's kind of got the makings of an inverse head and shoulders here. Like, look, it's got all the classic signs of a reversal. How do we prove it? Well, we break this high. We can break this 39 level. I think it's golden. If we honestly can close above 34, it's good. But I think it's going to be more confidence. You're going to get a bigger move up if you can break this 34 because that's where we chopped around a lot up here. You see it chops around. So you break that, you get the big pop up. So break that pop up. So look for maybe a little bit of a shoulder to get formed here, and then if this thing breaks up, then it'd be a nice little trade. It looks good though. I think it looks good. It's just got to hold this low. You don't want to lose this trend line. You start to lose that trend line, it's no bueno. Which trading strategy do I use? So I trade 2 different ways. I do swing trading and I do scalping. When I'm scalping, I'm typically just playing major supports and resistance of the day, like the London session, Asia session. I'm not 100% an SFP trader. I do take SFPs, but I really look for market structure on the 5-minute. I look for like a trend break. So I'll just draw it out for you so you can kind of see what I mean. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to do this, right? There's your trend. I'm looking for it to go into resistance. That's my resistance, and I'm looking for price to do this. That's it. That's my trading style. I'm looking for the, like a break a structure and then get the back test and then take my short. That's literally how I trade. I do it both directions. Trend goes up, market structure shift, back test, get in. Or I sometimes get in on the back test of the trend. When I see the trend break, I'll take that trade if there's divergence. I'm big on divergences, but that's simply how I trade. And there's another way you can trade. You can be the liquidity sweep guy. You wait for the price to go up, sweep the high, and then come back down, just like we did in BTC today. So there's different ways to trade. All right, I'm gonna look at SMR, and I think that's it, guys. You know what? Let me check out Woo as well. So Woo and SMR are the last two. And then I gotta jump because I've been on for too long and my eyes are starting to hurt. You can only look at charts so long, and then I start to lose mental bandwidth. Alright, let's zoom. Oh, Jesus, man. This is another 3-month one I'm gonna have to go to. Okay. So you're right up against resistance. You lost that low. You have a trend, a higher time frame trend, right? It's kind of an ugly trend, though. I don't really want to know if I want to use this. No, I don't want to use that. Let's ignore that. Let's go down to the weekly. You have a trend on the weekly, starting here, which you haven't broke yet, and you're right up against resistance. So what you need to see on Western Union is this $10 needs to be broken. If you can break this level and flip this into resistance, not only will that be a trend break, that will be a support resistance flip, and that would open up the shot of you coming back up here to this $14 level. So this could lead to this. That would be my expectation if that happens. If it fails, I mean, you're downhill back down to maybe $8, but I don't know if it looks pretty strong. The volume's there. I don't know if I would necessarily bet against it just yet. So you're just looking. You're looking to see what happens. And look, this is a good sign. Let me scroll this up a little bit so you guys can see what I'm actually looking at. So this is a good sign. Like you're banging your head against this resistance, and you're creating higher lows as you're doing it. So it's pulling back less and less and still going there. So the want to move up is showing it in the charts. So just wait for this $10 zone to break, and that'll be your confirmation that you're probably going to mark up to maybe 14. There'll probably be stops along the way, but you want to see something like that. Breakout, some type of retest, and then bang, takes off. Anything below that, you're still in this range. So just keep that in mind. That could also happen. Also all possibilities. That's Western Union. Really simple. This one's an easy one. Get back above 10 and then you can start looking for higher levels. What was the other one I said I was going to do? SMR. Yeah, SPY does have a rising wedge. It does. I think it's broken down. I'm going to break down. I caught the SFP high today too. I added to that trade when it it wasn't today, it was Friday I actually added to it. Because they weren't open. I think I'm going to add tomorrow though. So SMR, let's just get rid of everything here. This is kind of what I'm seeing on this thing, right? This is a daily. So you have your uptrend. You deviated below the uptrend slightly, not a lot, right? Just a little deviation. And you still haven't proven that it's going to confirm. So what I want to see, the volume looks good, by the way. I like the volume. I like how this is flagging out and it's breaking out like it's its own little thing, right? It's like its own little price action. So that's telling me that's a good sign. Now what I want to see is I want to see higher lows get put in. I need to see market structure shift. What you're looking for is this level here is going to be a key level around 23 bucks. You're looking for either one of two things to happen. If this doesn't break this level, you're looking for a higher low to get put in, which could turn into a little head and shoulders. This is just theory crafting. This doesn't have to happen. and then you get the break, right? Or you break up, you put in a new high here, break a structure, and then you come put the higher low in somewhere above this low. It could be anywhere above it. So it could happen one of two ways. Those are the ways to stay bullish. Both of those moves need to stay above the trend. You need to stay above this trend for me to want to remain bullish on this. So let me just get rid of some of this crap. So this trend right here, we need this to remain above it. I got a lot of drawings here. I'm going to do this again because that's why I can't see price action. I have too many drawings, but stay above this, you're good. So look for maybe a higher low to get formed, and then maybe look for this thing to mark up. First level to watch is going to be pretty obvious to me. It's right here. It's 32 level. If you can break back above 23, 32 is probably going to be your next target. And then above that's this high up here, around 48. Those are the major levels I see. So it could be a nice little gap up on SMR. Let's see what else. What website I use to do trades? What do you mean? What kind of trading are you doing, dude? Are we talking about like an exchange, a stockbroker? Like there's so many different ones. Let me do, I did Woo. Let me do the HTZ. HTZ's last, because I did see that, Scott. You did ask for Hertz a while back. Alright, Hertz is at the bottom. Very bottom of the range, right? So this is the bottom of the range. It's doing a little bit of consolidating. Damn, Hertz got beat up. So what I would watch on Hertz, right? You got this low right here. This is the most obvious low you need to watch. It's around 278. You're starting to consolidate, or you've been consolidating in this little bit of a channel right here. Maybe it's a bull flag. We don't know. So what are you consolidating above? Well, this high right here, the breakout. So you see how I just drew that out? This is the old channel, the old range. This is the breakout. This is the back test. If it proves, if the market proves that, hey, it wants to start forming support above this, that's basically a go ahead for price to move up, for traders to say, hey, we're time to move up. Price wants to move up. So if that happens, you look for the breakout, look for the measured move, somewhere like that. Takes you kind of up into this area here. Maybe it doesn't happen here. Maybe it happens a little lower, something like that. But anyway, this is the next area I'll be watching. Right up here is about 11 bucks. If you can hold above this 450, like 475, $5 level, and you can break above this trend, I would expect $11 is in the cards. So those are the levels right now. You break $11 and you start looking up here. You start looking up towards 15, this old range. It's all level to levels. At the end of the day, that's the game. It's level to level. Traders getting in and out. So I think that's what I would watch on Hertz. I mean, I don't really see anything bearish on it right now. It looks more bullish than bearish, if I had to guess. There's some divergences I can see on the weekly. I can see divergence on the daily. I can see money flows coming up on my indicators. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. I would probably, look, if you didn't catch it down here, I would probably wait for a breakout. I mean, unless you're just trading spot, maybe wait for like one of these and then bang. Or you wait for a sweep. If you're like wait for that sweep. If it does come down, that'd be nice. You don't always get those though. Those are like far and few, but those are nice when they do come in. Not a problem, guys. I really don't know how to answer that question, Ziggy. I use BTCC, I use BidFi as my crypto exchanges, and I use Brightfunded as my prop firm. Those are the only exchanges I trade on. I use TradingView to like chart. That's about it. Those are really the only thing I can answer. I mean, you can trade a lot of places. Just gotta have a broker if you want. But anyway, guys, if you're not following us, give us a follow. We're doing lives about 6 days a week. It's myself, Nick, and Ben. We're traders at Tactical Edge. If you're interested, check out our Discord. We got a free Discord. We have a free website with tons of educational content. Ben put a lot of time into a bunch of those videos. Probably one of the best traders I've ever met, and he just gives it all out there for free. And I mean, the knowledge people will pay for. So check us out if you're interested. If this is your kind of stuff, then give us a follow. Tune back in. I'll be back in tomorrow about 9:30 p.m. Do I recommend NQ Mini? I don't really know too much about that, dude, if I'm being 100% honest. You mean like as an investment? I don't really invest in like the NQ and stuff like that. I'm more of a trader, short-term stuff. Check out our Discord, dude. Join our Discord. There's a lot of guys that are like involved in like that kind of stuff that you can probably pick their ears or pick their brains about it. They'll know a lot more than I do. I'm more of like a TA guy. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. I'm gonna call it. You guys have a good one. Thanks. Later, y'all.